So it's funny that I came up with this idea of doing these little bits at the beginning because, and then you said, "Oh, I like it. It's good." Because now I assume we'll just get nothing but complaints.
We'll see.
We'll see.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
Ghost of Frankenstein.
My son, would you destroy that which I, your father, dedicated his life to creating? What if it had another brain?
Whose brain?
Your brain.
Bollock! What good is a brain without eyes to see?
I warned you that you might regret this action.
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Thom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson, and you join us for minute 40 of Universal's 1942 film, All New Thrills, The Ghost of Frankenstein, There Is No Tomorrow, Special Edition,
Destiny.
Episode 4, actually, I guess.
Destiny was...
Destiny was the other one.
Well, that was the title that they always threw on. Wolfman was Destiny.
You're going to love this. In Doctor Who,
No.
every time the Cybermen came back, the provisional title was Return of the Cybermen. And if you're a Patreon, I hope you're listening to this on February 22nd, which is Dwight Fry's birthday.
Yay, happy birthday.
We love Dwight Fry.
Yes, we do.
We are, as I assume most people must be, big defenders of Dwight Fry. The only thing that comes to mind is I think I made a comment about him having a drinking problem or something in jest once, and we had to be corrected on that.
Yeah,
we
he
have
did
no
not.
reason to think that.
No.
So, love Dwight Fry. Also, the Rondo Hatton film, House of Horrors, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Was released on this day in 1946.
Okay.
If,
Yes,
however...
towards the very end of the cycle.
Yeah, this is... Where does the cycle end?
Brute Man.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Which was so bad, Universal's like, yeah, we can't release this. Sold it off to like PRC or one of those Poverty Row places to release it.
That's really interesting because
You
nowadays...
can look at it and see that it was shot at Universal. There's no question. The way it looks, who's in it, but they're like, yeah, we're done.
We're
Nope.
done. We're out of this business.
Yeah. And it was as they were merging with International Pictures to become Universal International.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. Nowadays, of course, you have big major studios making DC superhero blockbusters, which involve, if nothing else, the return of Michael Keaton as Batman, and they put the movie on the shelf and announce that no one will ever see it.
Yeah.
That movie exists.
Yeah.
Is it
Batgirl.
I was going to say Batwoman. Yeah, Batgirl.
Batgirl.
I think, whatever. So, yeah. And if
Yeah,
you
I'd rather see that than the shit that they're putting out.
You know, they're hit and miss. For me personally, yeah, mostly miss. If you listen to this on Friday, nothing happened. If you listen to this on Saturday, Franz Waxman died on this day in 1967. There you go. If you're listening to this on Sunday, no,
Who wrote the stellar score to Bride of Frankenstein?
Yeah, a
One
fantastic
of my favorite scores of all time.
And got the CD.
I have actually two.
Yeah, I know. They put it out. Yeah,
It was
Well,
out.
One was
in the 90s.
and then this latest
This
one.
latest
was
one
the
was
Lala record.
Were the actual acetate recordings
Yeah.
that you hear in the film.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's funny because you are so used to this music. Because the one from the 90s was re-recorded and they did a little bit of tweaking and made a few changes to it. So it doesn't sound exactly like the movie, but the La La Land one from a few years ago, it is what's in the
original
movie.
cues.
So you hear it and you expect the sound effects and things.
Yeah.
Like when that pastoral thing, you expect to hear the sheep bleeding and they're not there. It's just kind of a weird feeling.
It is weird. It's like bootlegs or what now it's very common for old album releases to come with a few extra takes. So you get 2 or 3 takes of I don't know, I Saw Her Standing There or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, but this is exactly the same, and yet it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
They've done that
Something's missing.
with those replacements things too, where they have like different versions of Can't Hardly Wait, and some of them have the Tim lyrics.
Yeah.
And some have the Pleased to Meet Me, and the Pleased to Meet Me ones are very close to each other, but not exactly.
Okay. Minute 40, in which, I don't know, what happens?
Igor continues to hound Ludwig to put his brain in Junior's noggin.
Well, that's right. Okay, so
We will be together always.
So yeah,
My brain and his body together, and he strikes a pose.
Yeah, he does. He really does. He really does. It is pretty funny.
Because there's a cutaway, and when it cuts back, he's still posed
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
still like that. Yeah, it is like a pose. Yeah, you're right. It's hard not to look at it that way. The other thing about that is he might want to downplay that part of it.
Oh, yeah, he's not
maybe-
selling.
he's
He's
not
not selling this to Ludwig at all.
Yeah, and this is Ludwig, or not Ludwig. This is Igor's MO, right? He's always skirting on that edge. When you
Yeah.
call him into court, he's like, nah, what are you talking about? He's not relaxed. He's maybe too relaxed. He feels like, I got this.
Yeah.
And here he's going too far. But it doesn't seem to matter because Ludwig's working on the garage door opener.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. Ludwig's on the top of the ladder and he's
Yeah.
just working on a garage door opener.
Changing the light bulb or something.
And on the left side of the screen, there's a I don't remember if it's the same big box that he was standing in front of, but there's a dial that measures something, and it says radiation energy units. And I can't read everything, but the one on the far right, because by the time they close in enough, I think now you can read it, but you can't see the whole thing.
Yeah.
The one on the right says danger, and it's blinking. So I like that because that's totally Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
A blinking danger light is
Yeah, I would just
it's
ignore that.
nothing.
That's-
Can you turn that off? It's annoying.
it's really
me.
annoying.
Unplug that. So okay, so we already talked about the romper room angle.
Yep.
Okay.
And then in the script, in response to my brain, his body together, Ludwig in the script says, "You think I'm insane? Put your brain in that body?" But that line is cut. It says, "You're a cunning fellow, Igor. Do you think that I'd put your sly and sinister brain into the body of a giant? Huh. That would be a monster indeed."
I'm impressed by your reluctance or hesitant, not doing it while we were watching. When he said monster indeed, I was like, here it comes.
Oh, it was hard.
Monster indeed. So that's from Bride, and that's the Burgomaster.
That's
right?
E.E. Clive or C.C. Clive, depending on what you're looking at.
There's some dispute about what his name is, apparently, from the La La Land records, right?
Well, it's also on the cover of the Magic Image.
And so we decided it must be from a poster.
It's from a poster where it was misspelled.
So this is an interesting thing because you didn't read the part of that line that I would have read from the original script. You think I'm insane? Put your brain in that body. You're cunning, clever. You forget. Okay, you are cunning, clever. You forget that I know who you were before you came into the service of my brother. Pah! That would be a monster indeed. So
yeah,
I think that's the interesting part because
no, I have it, but I was.
Oh, you're gonna do that later?
Yeah.
Because before you came into the service of my brother, that is a good line because it establishes that he knew Igor presumably back when Igor was working for his dad.
Yeah, I knew
So
who
like
you
when
were.
we talk about the family and we talk about how the family dynamics work and how Igor slots in, this line would
kind of help
add to it. Yeah,
focus that a little
There's
bit.
no question because in the movie, I think all we're 100% sure of is that Ludwig knew that Wolf shot Igor.
Yeah.
And we know that he knows what he looks like, so he's presumably met him. unless Wolf was sending
Snapchat.
Yeah, Snapchat. Yeah, there you go.
Get a load of this guy.
Get a load of this weirdo. Oh, what nice teeth. He's got the filter. Ludwig's like, turn off the funny teeth filter. He's like, no,
that's it.
There wasn't one.
That's it. Sorry.
But the other thing is, and even this is even not from the script, but what we get, it's a great line about sly and sinister, and it's great that we can have the throwback to monster indeed. But it's also a great line about the monster indeed part because it helps explain his thought process. He doesn't think Frankenstein is a monster.
Well,
right now.
I think he does. I think that would really be a monster. You think he's a monster?
That's what I mean. I don't think
he's a
that
monster
line
now?
works unless you. Well, he doesn't say that though.
No, he doesn't.
If he's
but
a monster now, he'd be even more of a monster.
But that's what I infer
guess
from
so.
it. You think he's a monster now? You put your brain in that thing, that would really be a monster.
But he doesn't say that.
No, he doesn't. But
hold on. But he says monster indeed, which the implication, a reasonable interpretation of what he's saying there is that he's not a monster.
But I guess I've always seen it as amplify how much of a monster
That would be
he
a
really.
monster indeed.
Yeah.
This guy's bad enough, huh? Am I right?
Yeah, right, ladies.
Ladies.
I don't know.
He's popular with the ladies. That's 3, 4, 5
That's
films
a ways
from now.
off. You'll do as I tell you, or I'll not be responsible for the consequences.
I'm not even sure what that means.
I don't even know what that means.
But it does sound like maybe Igor's going to get a spanking. You know what I mean? It sounds like something you'd say to your kids. You clean your room or I will be responsible for the consequences.
Yep.
I'm going to get so drunk. I don't know. I don't know what it means.
No.
I'll not. What does he say exactly? You'll do
as I tell you, or I'll not be responsible for the consequences.
Or I'll not. So the or meaning I'll not be responsible for the consequences if you don't do what I say. I guess that makes sense when I turn it around.
What is that? What are the consequences?
I don't know. That part gets lost, I guess. Unless it works better if he's threatening him. But then if he's threatening him, then he would be responsible for the consequences.
Yeah.
Unless he's saying, this is a monster, and the consequences are going to be bad. Yeah. It won't be my fault.
Right. In the script...
Oh, boy. This is working out great, because I got nothing about the script.
Igor says... You must understand the monster has changed. Even I can no longer control him at all times.
And this is in response to the...
Pretty much to the consequences.
To the new brain idea?
Yeah.
You must understand, even I can't control him at times. Okay, so that would muddy the brain part.
I think that would make it worse, yeah. I think what he's saying is, you want me to tell him and reason with him that this is going to happen. I can't even control him.
Okay. I mean, I guess my only assumption would be then, because what's the alternative? The argument at this point is Igor is arguing for having his own brain put in the monster.
Yep. Now, while you're at it, throw a monster's brain in this bottle. Let's see what happens, just for shits and giggles.
That would be good. And we do see that again in that 5 or 6 movies from now.
What's not in the script is Bomer saying, ironic, isn't it, Doctor?
Which
is raining on your wedding day.
That's as we all know.
Yeah, it's very ironic.
As linguistics professor Alanis Morissette taught us. Yeah. That's what irony means.
Yeah, apparently. Ironic, isn't it, Doctor?
Well, it's funny. This is this part where you almost can picture a Mystery Science Theater, like, because this dialogue is clunky. It's ironic, isn't it? And then Bomer knows precisely what he's talking about.
Yeah, like, no, Ludwig knows what Bomer's talking about.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, the monster's victim shall inherit his body.
And then
that's pretty funny, isn't it?
Look at this asshole. Sorry, Kettering.
Hey.
What are you gonna
do? What are you gonna kill? No, wait, no!
But you could totally see, like, Bomer being like, well, no, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
That's not ironic.
It's kind of sad.
That's a fucking nightmare. Actually, when you think about it, like, good news, you made a grievous error in accompanying Jeffrey Dahmer back to his apartment, but I have great news. Now you're Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, what?
Yeah, wait a minute.
Hold on a second. I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, yes, the monster's victim shall inherit his body, and then Bomer adds, and everlasting life. Again, not a good thing.
Yeah.
Not.
Well, it does add to the irony, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah, this guy killed you, but guess what?
You get to be him.
Never die.
You get to be him forever.
Yeah, until someone figures out how to dissect you.
Yeah, right? You build up the voltage potential to its maximum.
So you do not have a mush mouth like some people in this, like some
of the actors in this film.
Knighted by Queen Elizabeth actors in this film. I assume Elizabeth. Oh, maybe not. In the 40s. Did we
King
do this?
Edward.
Was it? I think it was, actually. Because it was Elizabeth by the 40s, but he was knighted before that.
Much longer.
I don't know. Yeah. Who cares? But the knighted actor in this film is not. This is something that I think is a really interesting thing about what we're fans of. I think you and I are both fans of cinema. We can talk about great films like Citizen Kane and whatever, but we're also great fans of fucking trash and junk, and within reason. And you get actors that are amazingly well suited to jargon. But in this case, Hardwick says, "Build up the voltage." He's just a little mushy mouth.
He's a little drunk when he.
Well, I wonder. You kind of wonder. Maybe it was that kind of era. Pinky was like, "Well, sure, I got a bottle, but it was for me." But
for the party later, if you want to come by.
Yeah.
Come by the house to the hoop-de-doo, or what do they call it? The Christmas.
I'm sorry. So many things just happen in my brain at the same time. What are you talking about?
Sorry.
I made the mistake of reading ahead, and you were just, I don't know what happened.
I just said a bunch of words that don't have any.
Oh, the Pinky Party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pinky Party.
Here's the thing that I wrote down, but it only works if I'd said it right afterwards, which is, build up the voltage potential to its maximum. Go dig up Kettering's body. I think that would be a cool thing for him to say that.
Get it out of the icebox.
Yeah, you remember Kettering. Don't wake Elsa.
Yeah,
Elsa, right? It doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Like, why do I not know the character's name? How do I not even know until this series of episodes that Elsa's mother-in-law? No, sister-in-law is named Elsa. No, mother,
Aunt.
aunt.
It'd be her aunt.
Her aunt is Elsa.
Yeah.
Her mother-in-law was Elizabeth. Okay, I get really easily confused with names.
No.
I
No, her grandmother would have been Elizabeth. Her mother-in-law would be Eric's mother, who we never see.
Right. Yeah, what did I do there? I don't know where
I don't know
went
how you
with
made
that.
those leaps, but hey.
Yeah, that's weird. Voltage is a measurement of potential energy.
Okay.
Again,
You went to school for
when
this.
I went
so
to
I'll
school
defer
for
to
this
you.
in the 80s, you couldn't have told me that my experience would be pretty minimal on the job, and it would mainly come in handy when talking about Frankenstein, movies in a podcast. Voltage is a measure of a measurement of potential energy, so this makes sense.
So what he says makes sense.
It does make sense, but voltage potential is a bit redundant.
Okay.
Because voltage is a measurement of potential energy.
But it's maximum potential.
Maximum voltage, same difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, well, if he'd said, how do I know? Well, what voltage is it? They start a routine.
Yeah.
It becomes a
Abbott and
Costello routine.
Yeah.
Also, the meter, we see a meter, close-up of a meter. This is one of those minutes that I'm probably doing, I can see you're already looking at your notes.
No, I'm trying to remember what it was
probably
called.
got some of it out of order. But he has a meter that does say megavolts.
Yeah, that's what it's. Yeah.
And I looked it up to be sure because nowadays we know what a megabyte is. It's a million bytes. We know what a gigabyte is. That's a billion bytes. Right. But these things were established fairly recently.
Yeah.
And they weren't established in the 40s. But I think megavolt probably was established back then.
So it's a million volts?
So a megavolt is a million volts, yeah. According to the National Weather Service, a typical lightning bolt is about 300 million volts.
Whew.
According to Duracell, a typical 9-volt battery has 9 volts.
Okay.
So this is what you need to. These are the end points.
Okay.
A lightning bolt. I mean, I don't know how many. What else can you measure electrically than a lightning bolt? It's got to be the top.
That's got to be the top of the
line, especially if you're in a Frankenstein film.
Yeah.
You can't beat.
You
lightning
can't be
bolts.
That lightning is. You got to wait.
The
for
lightning.
That.
You guy can't even say it. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle is 3 megavolts. Okay. To be honest, it's a ton compared to a 9-volt battery or your 12-volt car battery, or you might have a 12-volt in your. I have a electric lawnmower now.
Yeah.
And I think those are 12.
Yeah, we do too, and I'm 40, I think.
Oh, maybe it is. It probably is.
Yeah, it's 40.
But the other part of it, of course, is it isn't just volts. Watts is the thing, right? So when you get volts.
What?
But yes, there you go. Volts times amps equals watts. Currency is amps. Potential energy is voltage is volts, and power is watts. So your power is amps times volts.
So that's why the light bulb is a 40-watt light bulb or whatever.
Yeah, but you can have a low voltage and a high current, and it'll kill you because your end result is a high power.
Okay.
And so current is generally considered to be the one that you jack up. But 3 megavolts, not bad. You'd probably wake him up.
Yeah.
But he got hit. Here's the other thing. He got hit by lightning. 2 weeks ago. I don't know. When did he get hit by lightning? It's 3 days ago?
In terms
it could be a month ago.
We don't know, yeah.
No, I meant in real life. No. In our weeks, in podcast weeks, it's like 20.
Last year.
But just a few days ago, or whatever it is, he got hit by lightning.
Yeah.
And that was like, all right, that's going to give me just enough to get my tired ass to Ludwig's house where he can really do some damage.
Yeah.
And then he's going to do this with 3 megavolts? Yeah, come on. Actually, I say 3 megavolts. It's going up, so it might get to 5. But the meter only goes to 5.
Yeah.
Having said that, maybe it's like the danger thing. Maybe it just goes to 5 and just pegged.
Yeah.
And it's actually 300, or who knows.
Well, and I don't think he wants him, unlike Patrick Knowles in the next film, I don't think he needs to see him at his full strength.
Yeah.
He wants him strong enough to survive the operation.
Love it. This is a good point.
But
I love that.
not be, full on Frankenstein.
And you're right. It's like you're reading my mind, because
how do you know I'm not?
That is probably on some level what I'm thinking, because I do tend to think of these films as that after a certain point, that it's just I just want to see the monster at full strength. I just got to see
no
this shit.
good reason
this
whatsoever.
Is gonna be awesome.
What could possibly go wrong now?
on a broader level, that's what the whole film series is. This is going to be awesome, and it always turns out with a fire.
It never is.
There's
awesome.
always a fire
Yep.
and a bunch of angry villagers.
Yep. Yeah.
This is not awesome.
At this point, the movie goes Full Metal Strickfaden.
Full Metal Strickfaden.
Yep.
That's why it becomes hard to remember what comes where and what goes where, because it just becomes
a
a bunch
montage
of stuff. And it's good stuff.
I love the little neon swirly that starts off spinning, and then by the end of this minute, it's spinning so fast it looks like it's going to go flying off of its axis.
That's cool.
It's roaring. I mean, it's making a sound that sounds like Godzilla.
Nice.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's going so fast.
It's fear. That's the sound.
Yeah.
What else you got? I got
The Vicks vaporizer is going.
So what you got is what appears to be at least 2 Tesla coils. I think there's a piece in the middle.
Yeah.
That are sending. That's right. The piece in the middle is where the Tesla coils are sending arcing the little. Electric bolts, lightning bolts. We didn't learn, but amazingly enough, we didn't cover Tesla in my 18-month course at Brown Institute in the old days. But it's that, right? We've seen it a million times. You see it in tons of movies. Actually, I love it in that Karloff Fu Manchu.
Oh,
You can tell it's Strickfaden. Or you can tell it's not him anyway.
You can tell it's not Karloff.
And there's like some serious arcing going on there.
That is a frightening shot.
Yeah, but you can.
I couldn't have been on the set.
Is it that
during that?
Is it that much more frightening than when you used to go to Spencer Gifts at the mall and then put your hand on the thing? It's really the same idea, I'm sure.
But it's
spectacular, but not dangerous.
Had a layer of glass between you and the...
It did, that's true.
This is a guy standing there holding a sword.
Yeah.
As a huge arc shoots through the sword.
Well, if you got gloves on, you're good.
I guess, but it just looked incredibly dangerous and...
Remember how Kenneth Strickfaden died?
Old age.
Yeah. That's true, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just loved
these
farting
around with this stuff. Yeah.
So, anyways, the Tesla coils send the arc to the center, where this centerpiece, which then I believe is producing. This is what it looks like to me. It looks to me like that's producing this vapor or this smoke that's then going up into is that the thing you called the Vicks vaporizer or whatever?
Yeah.
Which is cool. I don't know in real life what's actually happening. If that maybe it's pushing it out or is it sucking it up?
It looks like it's going up.
I think it looks like it's going up. But of course, it could be reversed too, because there's a lot of shots, but they wouldn't bother.
Well, and this has got the curtains in the background that makes it look like this is happening on a stage. I've always thought.
Interesting.
The curtains in the background, and like certainly stills.
What do you mean when you say a stage? It's on a stage. You just mean
not
like
a proscenium stage.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's a performance. Because seeing pictures of it before I saw the movie, there's these curtains in the background. I'm like, what is going on? Where is this happening?
Right. Yeah.
You don't see curtains a lot in a Frankenstein lab.
It is funny when you talk about that, seeing pictures of something you hope to see one day, and then you see it and you're like,
it's completely different.
Nothing. That had nothing
to
do with anything.
Seeing stills of Chaney with the Salford, where he's all white. I thought that was the ghost. That's the ghost of Frankenstein.
That's the ghost of Frankenstein. I love it.
When I'm 8 years old, I mean, it made sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, does it make more sense to know that it's Henry?
Not at all.
The boring version of Henry.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then that happens, and then what else have we got? We got just a bunch of stuff making a lot of noise. I guess there's nothing really other than that.
It's not any kind of sort of follow through line.
Yeah.
It's just a montage again of machinery doing stuff.
I guess I like it. I think right now it adds to my, and I said this I think recently too, my belief that this might be better than the last film.
Oh, I think this lab is
in some ways anyway.
Yeah.
Like
there's
I said,
more going on.
There's less dead space in the shot. It's busy.
Yeah, and I like the little whirligig, the neon spiral spinning around.
Reminds me of that little thing you'd get a toy that where you could just go and it would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Is that it? Then the minute ends.
That's what I got.
Minute ends.
Minute ends.
What are you going to do? That's how minutes end.
Yep.
The minute must end.
Any more questions, wise ass?
Shoot.
Did you lose it again?
Of course. It made perfect sense to me, and then now I'm having to start over again.
Of course, yeah.
That sound of me humming the theme song to Got Any Wise Ass Comments, Wise Asses can only mean one thing. It's time, once again, for Got Any Wise Ass Comments, Wise Asses, brought to you by Kenneth Strickfaden's Electric
Boogaloo.
Got brought to you by patreon.com/Frankenstein Minute, where you can sign up at the friend level, and for $2 a month you can get each episode a day early, and you have access to all of our bonus content, including the Rondo, soon-to-be Rondo-nominated Curse of Frankenstein commentary. I assume that'll be the 2024 nominations,
yeah.
so this we got to wait about a year for that one.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, at the $5 level, you're now, that's the wise ass level, and you get all of that. Everything I just said, as well as you get the minutes a little bit in advance. The actual, I just send you the clip. You get an email with the clip, or it's in your Patreon app or whatever, that you can actually watch the minute and make comments about it, and we will read them on the podcast.
Plus, if we meet you, you get a hearty hand clasp.
Nice.
Yep.
To wit, Mike Herman says, the movie doesn't really acknowledge the fact that putting Kettering's brain into the monster's skull is still a really bad idea that only an unhinged mind would think is a good one. Now, I'm going to stop in the middle here and say this one I wish I had read before, because I was trying to stumble through how the moral logistics work. What would Kettering think of this? What would, but it's okay because he's already dead. It's too late for him and all that. But yeah, the movie expects you to accept
that this is a good idea.
Really bad idea that only an unhinged mind would think is a good one. I like that Ludwig, who is the Frankenstein with the best sense, still is pretty out there.
Yep.
He's the Frankenstein with the best sense, I guess, of the three.
So, I mean, you compare him to Henry and Wolf by comparison. He's the most level-headed.
That was weird. Did you do that on purpose? You said the word wolf right as your dog barked. Wolf.
We have it worked out.
You got it worked out. Sorry. That's all I could think about when you were talking. What were you saying?
I don't even know.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it has.
I guess we'll have to just wait and see how it turns out when Barton Yarborough's voice is channeled through Junior.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
That's it?
What we're gonna say. Well, I mean, that's all I have for that minute.
This minute?
I have comments from some of our illustrious commenters.
Previously on Frankenstein Minute.
Well, this is interesting. Hunt Mason has returned.
Okay.
Our favorite commenter that brought us down made it seem like a gas chamber was something we should maybe have given some thought to.
Yeah.
He's back.
Okay.
He's commenting on episode 4.33, although he does compliment it because it's the first thing he says is great episode! Okay. Exclamation point. And maybe we'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
Regarding Cedric Hardwicke being light on his feet, he actually was in a musical back in the 1920s. He starred as Captain Andy in the London production of Showboat.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he did a huge amount of dancing, but I'm sure he had to do some light choreography as well as singing. I think anybody cast in a musical has to know how to move and, yes be light on their feet. Okay, so that's...
Well, here's the thing, though. I've been in several musicals, and I'm neither of those things.
You're neither... What are the two things? Light on your feet or know how to move?
Yeah, I'm neither of those.
But no one's ever accused you of that until today.
Yep.
Well, Hunt, there's your answer. No.
No, I do agree with him because it was a challenge.
Also, and I think one of the things I had said, I was just pure speculate. I never noticed that. Is that a new Batman thing? Or has that always been there?
Oh, no, that's new. I put that up there.
I like it. Very distracting because it's obviously the logo from the 66 Batman, right? It
is.
That I had speculated that would be the case with Cedric Hardwicke. It does seem like back then it was much more common to have an all-around entertainer.
Yes.
It was like, well, I want to be an actor, or maybe I want to be a singer, or maybe I want to be whatever.
Well, and, a lot of these people...
Fred Astaire is a good actor.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's in films where he doesn't sing or dance.
Can't think of any.
No, I can't off the top of my head,
I can. If I bet I could if I thought about it hard enough. Yeah, you're right. He is.
Yeah, and
it's not like we waited till he was old and became an actor or something.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the people early talkies in early Hollywood, and this is still early enough Hollywood that these people came from theater where that was sort of the norm.
Yeah.
It was, Dwight Fry was in musicals. He was known as a light comedian up until Dracula.
Yeah, that's right. That is always a weird thing to think about. Although, totally buy it.
Oh, I can see it.
Because I can absolutely see him doing comedy.
Absolutely.
Because he does some funny stuff.
And I wish
he drops that brain. That's hilarious.
That's hysterical. I wish he would have had the opportunity on film to do some of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, Carl's funny, too.
Carl's great. Yeah, Carl's hilarious.
Yeah, so you can totally see it with him.
But I wish we would have seen it in an actual comedy or, some examples of that on film, because after Dracula, he was pigeonholed as weirdos for the rest of his career.
People do get pigeonholed, especially as weirdos. For some reason, you just made me think of, I just saw a picture, you used to be scrolling, and I saw a couple of pictures of the monkeys that I hadn't seen before. I think this might be because Mickey Dolenz just put out a big book of his photo, and so people are just putting them on the internet. But one of them was Davy Jones with Ringo, which I don't think was in that book, but I'm like, oh, whenever you got a monkey and a beetle, there's like 5 of those, and now I saw a new one. Yeah. Because you've always seen the same ones. Yeah. But this one was Davy Jones and Jack Nicholson. And I'm always like, God, it's just, I can't wrap my head around it. I know he wrote Head, but it just seems insane that he was hanging out with the monkeys, because I've pigeonholed him as the Joker, the character that I like to refer to as The Shining. I don't know. I guess he could be, oh, no, what happened here?
He's Randall McMurphy.
Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
We got a lot. I hope you don't have time. I hope you have time.
I mean, it's 3:15, but yeah, keep going.
Okay.
I got nowhere till 5 o'clock.
Dr. Alex Zorka writes, well, you know what I want to do? I want to watch football. It's big football weekend, and the first game starts in 15 minutes.
I can't begin to care.
Dr. Alex Zorka's comment starts, and then in case you didn't get it, in parentheses, a Lugosian Igor cackle. Yeah. Richard Valley is probably rolling over in his grave. Who's Richard Valley?
He's referred to him, I think he's on the Classic Horror Film Board, or was, or...
Oh, Rick? No, that's not. Is it?
I don't know.
Anyway, well, he's not. I hope he's not in his grave. Anyways, Air Lang and Bill, not Everson, Evenson.
Yeah, see? What did I say when I first met you?
I can't tell you how long...
William K. Everson all the time.
I can't tell you how long I waited to be mixed up with William K. Everson, and now it's happened to me 3 times, I think, counting yours, if that it really happened. You didn't mistake me for him, though, did you?
No, I didn't mistake you, but I said,
and I guess he didn't hear either. But yeah, just to even be in the same sentence is like something I aspired to. You can't be a horror fan and not have a book that almost has your name on it and not notice.
Right.
Actually seem to like my wacky theory of Ludwig being the older brother.
Yeah, absolutely do.
We absolutely love it. And yes, it's only a theory. As I said, it's also possible that Wolfie von F went to boarding school as a youngster and didn't get to know his... Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I like this too.
Well, he did mention that.
And didn't get to know his daddy, Henry, before he passed away. When Ludwig sees his father's ghost, that's where the title comes from, right?
Yep.
Although some of the posters kind of hint the monster is kind of a ghost himself. That's interesting. You were just saying that, basically. And then he writes, stop, that's too confusing. I seem to recall reading somewhere, maybe film historian Bill Everson, not Evenson, might have made the comment that originally Basil Rathbone was going to appear in The Ghost of Frankenstein. Yeah, I think we did see... But I think that was early in production. They wanted to have him back, I thought. But I don't
think it got very far.
Back again as Wolf von F, but he was tied up, maybe doing Sherlock Holmes and the Voice of Terror, and so the screenwriters created his brother Ludwig Frankenstein in the nearby village of Vassaria. I haven't read Tom Weider's article on an earlier script in The Ghost of Frankenstein in a recent Classic Images publication. What is he talking about?
I don't know. I'll have to find this article.
He must mean Magic Image, though, right? Classic Images.
No, Classic Images.
So maybe one of you can clarify this. Well, when he says that, he's saying it on the Classic Horror Film Board, so he might be asking Tom Weaver. Like Tom Weaver's going to be on our thread.
Yeah.
He's like, that's somewhere I don't go. He's the guy that started the David Skull thread, which I thought was very, very fitting and suitable. And made me, quote unquote, happy, I guess.
As happy as that situation can make.
Yes, exactly. I'd still like to know Mr. Evenson and Air Lang's thoughts on radio actor Barton Yarborough as the doomed Dr. Kettering. Barton Yarborough coming up multiple times in the comments. As I said, he did very few movies as he was in pretty high demand as a radio actor, but he had a decent presence on film, at least I think so. He is kind of going back. We remember this now.
Yeah, he did talk about him being on radio a lot, and I think he's not given a lot to do here because he's killed within the first 20 minutes or whatever. And
he's the counterpoint to a guy who we care about.
Yeah, but I said at the time when we were first introduced him that he's like from Texas or something.
And he doesn't sound like it.
No, but he has he made the effort to give this character a sort of European accent. It's not particularly British. It's just sort of that vague Hollywood Europe kind of accent, which I think he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So he went that step further.
So the assumption you're making is that he was like, I'm in a Frankenstein movie. This is how you're supposed to talk in a Frankenstein movie. Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's cool.
doubt that came from Kenton. I'm sure it was just sort of because
Kenton was too busy lining up the romper room shot.
Evelyn Onkers doesn't do it.
No, true.
I mean, she has a slight.
Eric sure the hell doesn't.
No,
do it.
he sure doesn't. I mean, Onkers has sort of that. I don't know what you call it. Julianne Moore does it in The Big Lebowski. It's not. It's sort of a.
Who does it in Big Lebowski? Sorry?
Maud Lebowski, Julianne Moore.
Yeah, right. Oh, you mean like a...
It's sort of like a Bryn Mawr or, sort of an Eastern upper class.
Yeah, yeah.
So she sort of talks like that normally, I think.
God, who are you making me think of? In this series, someone does that. And I can't think of who it is. Then he also says Steve, who must be the other person. You'll notice the boys here at least thinking about cleaning up their language in front of their kids, so maybe we get them something to consider. Of course, next episode they could be doubling up on the foul language, but
yeah, we are.
Yeah, here we go. They're a couple of weeks behind our comments here, that's true. And then Count Plastica responds, never heard of this before, but sitting here imagining Rathbone's wolf was in Ghost so far. Scene for scene, it works better and makes better sense. Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. But the problem I have is, then this is a relatively new thought to me, but it's a philosophical thought, which is we exist in the universe we exist in. So I know that I have that this is how it turned out. Mm-hmm. So these what ifs become really fanciful. They just seem very fanciful to me. And in particular,
they're just a thought experiment.
And in particular, one of the things you do with films, and especially genre films, is you invent your own what do they call it? Headcanon for a lot of to explain away things and stuff like that. So then I'm now reading this comment after I've come fully on board with Ludwig with Hardwick's performance as Ludwig. Mm-hmm. That is the performance he's giving.
Yep.
And so now then to say that would work better with Rathbone as Wolf, I think it would. I don't think it would be uniformly better. I think we are in the film series is enhanced by our meeting Ludwig.
To a degree, yeah, I agree with you, but I also
agree. It's like how often do you replace it's like replacing David Lee Roth with Sammy Hagar. Just as good.
I don't care for either, so it doesn't matter. I'm one of the few white people that doesn't like Van Halen, I think.
Yeah. Alex Zorker responds, well, I'm pretty sure I read it somewhere from Everson or Mank or Lenig, I don't know, or Glut, or you call him Glut, or et cetera, regarding the making of Ghost, maybe even Blackie Seymour.
I don't know who that is.
When you get a little older, it's not that you've lost your memory, it's that the memories in the filing cabinets get a little rusty and hard to open up so quickly.
There you go.
I know these things can happen, believe me. And then the response, trust me, I know. This all happened yesterday. I really like that. The memories in the filing cabinets get a little rusty and hard to open up so quickly.
Yep.
Because we were just talking about this.
Well, see, you can't remember.
No, I can't remember. All right, well that's it from us.
Yep.
Stay tuned for your next favorite podcast. I'm going to guess if you're a fan of this podcast,
on most
the next
CBS
podcast
stations
in your feed is, let's see, what would be the next podcast in your feed? It's probably something,
Dana
some
Gould,
right-wing politics.
Yeah,
right-wing politics.
I'm sure that a lot of our listeners are.
Yeah, hardcore
MAGA,
right-wing MAGA. Yeah, it's probably something that advocates something that if I even just describe what it is, we'll get banned off YouTube. Yeah. Are we gonna do this? Are we gonna maybe that's how we alleviate sort of the boredom of doing this all the time? Yeah. Is we become more and more QAnon? You know?
Yeah.
Pizzagate, folks, look it up.